What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, what was just kind of put out there, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, it is down 3.34%, so pulling back slightly. I want to go over some of the data points, but there is no real justified reason why Lucid's going down aside from just piggybacking off of last minute fears, because Tesla does have their earnings coming out in roughly around 2 hours, so that no doubtably is going to cause a lot of volatility, as what normal. Whatever happens to Tesla, good, bad, and the ugly, causes the rest of the EVs to kind of suffer or benefit depending on what is said. But a lot of good volume, so 23.6 million shares being traded, 34.7 is the average. You do see a good amount of transactions occurring, so it looks like institutions are starting to buy the dip. So 3 transactions, all of which were buys, 1 sell first thing, as you can kind of see based off of that. So I did a video under financial journey only because I wanted to kind of kick today off with this right here. So these are all the questions for the upcoming Q2 earnings being posed by retail. So I kind of was a little bit maybe too harsh on these questions. Still though, the top 3 questions, not necessarily the best. So it's about profitability. Is it true that Nissan has invested with Lucid? And then this one right here about having a affordable EV model, which I don't know. In my other video, I kind of alluded to how Lucid did have maybe their employees pose these questions or whatever else. That was just purely speculation. I even said that in my video, but it's just hard to believe that some investors are actually putting these questions out. But still, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. There still is time. Typically, whatever is posed and submitted during the first day, that is what is asked during the actual Q2 earnings. So hopefully someone does put forth some questions for ESS. I would be really posing my own questions and doing all that, but as I've complained about in the past, technically a lot of the brokers that are outside the states, this website right here does not really recognize them. So can't really have my shares counted or anything like that because they don't recognize it. So it's an unfortunate kind of scenario, but it is what it is. Starting off though, there's this that did come out. So I feel like Nick just came out of nowhere, unless maybe I was living under a rock, but this is X or Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. Nick, who is the head of communications for Lucid Motors. And so you can kind of see it's a 49-second video. It looks like it was pretty much the first pre-production Gravity. And so this did travel through the new paint shop. And so it kind of goes to show that Gravity is on track and it's on schedule. So obviously Peter did state during some of the recent interviews that in, I believe that August is going to be for the homologation. So that is a very big deal for the Gravity, but I think this is a very big success. And so hopefully the first time like this, it all goes according to plan, because I think Lucid desperately needs the Gravity to come out on time, no hiccups, nothing like that. So I think this is a very big accomplishment. So I just wanted to share that with you. Aside from that, shorts are returning 1.69 million shares. So today was more of a flip-flop only because when I did my other video under financial journey, shorts were increasing 1.5. So now kind of went south or flipped. So shorts are returning 1.69 million shares. So in case you do not know, that adds a buying pressure. But 27.34% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 242.1 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost of bar average is 19.17, and then utilization is 90.75. So in my opinion, I think that's pretty kick-ass. The fact that shorts are returning, maybe they know that Lucid's upcoming earnings is going to be very good for a lot of the right reasons. So I think analysts are becoming a little bit more optimistic based on the estimates for earnings per share, revenue, and the whole shebang. So again, I'll do a dedicated video to that closer to obviously their earnings. But aside from that, looking at options, 345,000 in calls, 1.75 million in puts. 76% of all the options being done today though are optimistic and bullish. And of the call options are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be around $5. by the end of next week, which coincidentally is exactly what the Elliott wave technicals are projecting. So as long as it is above that 299 kind of pivot point, then it is anticipated to get between that $4.65 and $5 range. So options and this and the technicals are kind of saying the exact same thing. So once again, take that into consideration. On a side note, if you're looking for a lot of good compiled information, such as analyst ratings, forecasts for upcoming earnings, take a look at 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗧𝗪 for all this to be completely free. But once again, moving on from here though, going over some of the strong support and resistance points with it at $3.47. It is trading between this S1 and this pivot. So we do know that now this S1 is a very strong support. So it bounced off of that general area. So that's obviously one reason why it kind of is where it is and it's not a lot lower. It's because of this strong support. So dependent on Tesla earnings, we'll just have to see if that does or is tested once again or whatever else. 325 is the strong support below that as well. On the flip side, $3.72 is that next strong resistance / target, and then 401. So a lot of data, in my opinion, is still cautiously optimistic. Some is starting to turn a little bit bearish. We'll just have to wait and see what does come out. But on the actual chart itself, still higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. Looking at stochastic, you do see it's cooled off quite a lot. So a little bit more of a bearish deviation though. So red line above the white, but still nonetheless, it isn't considered overbought as it once was. And on a side note, it is still above a lot of the key pivotal moving averages, more specifically that 50-day moving average. Looking at the momentum indicator, shows number of retail investors have been getting out slightly over this last little bit. So obviously profit taking or whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Have you been buying the Lucid dip over this last several trading days, or do you think that it is going to dip more? What's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And actually one thing, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion. I don't know if you guys watched my other video under, again, financial journey. Was I too difficult on these questions, or am I justified? Like, I wasn't overly impressed. I think a lot of people had a lot of, or at least I had a lot of expectations for this kind of questions. But even right here, my shares have lost 91% of their value since I bought them. What are you going to do about it? Like, I get it. A lot of people are at a loss. There's a big difference between a stock price and the company's day-to-day operations. I think a lot of people are confused the fact that they don't always interact with each other. So company could be doing phenomenal things operationally, but the stock price could be getting manipulated down, which of course Lucid is. I bring this up almost every single video, like 27.34% of the free float's being shorted. So obviously Lucid is manipulated. That does mean the stock price will not always coincide with the day-to-day operations. So I feel like just these questions aren't the best, but do you think I'm being too difficult? What's your thoughts? One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.